It sounded impossible just a few years ago, a fully autonomous flying taxi navigating crowded cities. Now, China has turned science fiction into reality with electric vertical takeoff technology and AI-controlled flight systems. If scaled globally, this innovation could redefine transportation and leave traditional infrastructure behind. Join us as we discover how China's autonomous flying taxi shocked the US and became real. Let's go. Number 13. Beta Technologies Alia A250 Cargo Focus. Vermont's Beta Technologies went a completely different direction from everyone chasing the passenger air taxi market. They focused on cargo and medical transport first. The Alia A250 looks like it was designed by someone who actually understands aviation, with a clean 50-foot wing inspired by the Arctic Tern and 4 lift rotors plus 1 rear pusher propeller. This thing flies like it means business. The company surpassed 100,000 nautical miles of flight testing by late 2025, more than any other eVTOL manufacturer. That's not marketing hype, that's actual miles in the air. UPS ordered up to 150 of these aircraft for package delivery because they ran the numbers and realized electric aircraft make economic sense for logistics. The Air Force tested it for military cargo missions. United Therapeutics uses it for transporting medical supplies and organs. Beta went public on the New York Stock Exchange in November 2025, raising over $1 billion and hitting a $7.4 billion valuation. The aircraft carries 5 passengers or equivalent cargo weight across 250 miles per charge. Cost per flight drops dramatically compared to helicopters, $17 in electricity to fly 150 miles versus $700 in jet fuel for a turbine plane covering the same distance. That math changes everything about short-haul aviation economics. Beta built a 188,000 square foot manufacturing facility and developed a network of over 50 charging stations across the US and Canada. They're not just making aircraft, they're building the entire ecosystem. The Alia CTOL fixed-wing version completed the first electric aircraft landing at JFK Airport in July 2025, proving these machines can integrate into existing aviation infrastructure. Beta expects FAA certification for the CTOL variant in 2025, followed by the VTOL version in 2026. Air New Zealand, Bristow Helicopters, and multiple military branches already have orders in. The company's backlog sits at 891 aircraft worth $3.5 billion.
Number 12. SkyDrive SD-05, Japan's compact design. Japan entered the flying taxi race with SkyDrive, a company focused on creating the world's smallest eVTOL for ultra-dense urban environments. The SD-05 measures just 13 feet long and 13 feet wide, designed to fit in spaces where traditional helicopters can't operate. This compact footprint matters enormously in cities like Tokyo, where every square foot of space costs a fortune. 8 small rotors arranged around a central cabin keep the design simple and safe through redundancy. 2 passengers fit inside for trips covering about 6 miles at speeds around 40 miles per hour. Those specs sound modest compared to American and Chinese competitors, but SkyDrive focused on different priorities, operating in extremely tight urban spaces and winning public acceptance in safety-conscious Japan. The company completed crewed test flights in 2020 and has been refining the design ever since. Osaka expects to demonstrate SkyDrive aircraft during special events, with plans for regular commercial operations by 2025. Suzuki Motor Corporation invested in the company along with various Japanese municipalities, eager to position their cities as leaders in urban air mobility. The SD-05 targets initial applications like tourist flights, special event transportation, and emergency medical response, rather than replacing taxis. Pricing aims for accessibility within the Japanese market, though exact figures remain confidential. SkyDrive partners with local governments to build dedicated landing infrastructure, including rooftop vertiports on commercial buildings and small landing pads in parks. The strategy focuses on creating visible, frequent operations that build familiarity and trust. Japanese regulators work closely with SkyDrive on certification standards, potentially creating a faster path to approval than companies face in the US or Europe. The compact design also attracted international interest from other densely populated Asian cities facing similar space constraints.
I'm going to ask you a simple question. Are you a naturally curious person? If you're watching, I'm pretty sure the answer is yes. This space is made for people like us. To ensure you're always part of this community and receive all our latest discoveries, you just need to do one thing: subscribe to the channel. It's the best way to stay connected with us. Okay, now that you're part of our Legion of the Curious, let's move on to the next item.
Number 11. Cadillac VTOL Concept Luxury Vision. General Motors shocked people in January 2021 when they unveiled a Cadillac flying car concept during a virtual keynote. This wasn't just some vague, futuristic rendering. It was a fully realized design showing how luxury automakers think about personal air mobility. The Cadillac VTOL seats one passenger in a sleek pod that looks more like a personal spacecraft than a taxi. 4 pairs of rotors arranged in a square configuration provide vertical lift and forward propulsion. The whole thing screams premium luxury with that signature Cadillac styling, treating the aircraft more like a high-end personal vehicle than mass transportation. GM positioned this as their vision for autonomous personal air travel, where wealthy individuals might eventually own their own flying vehicles the same way they own luxury cars today. The design features a 90-kilowatt motor and targets vertical speeds up to 56 miles per hour. It's completely autonomous. No pilot controls exist because GM envisions this as part of their self-driving future ecosystem. Voice control and biometric sensors handle everything from entry to destination selection. The interior uses sustainable materials, premium finishes, and advanced lighting that wouldn't look out of place in a concept car showroom. Panoramic glass provides 360-degree views because if you're flying, might as well enjoy it. Reality check though, this remains purely conceptual. GM hasn't announced production timelines, certification efforts, or even confirmed they're seriously pursuing development beyond the design exercise. The concept generated massive buzz and showed luxury automakers are thinking about how they fit into the flying taxi revolution. Several automotive giants, including Toyota, Hyundai, and Stellantis, invested heavily in eVTOL companies, but GM took a different approach by showcasing their own vision. Whether Cadillac ever actually builds this thing remains unclear, but the design influenced how people think about what personal air mobility could look like for the premium market.
Number 10. EHang VT-35 Extended Range Model. EHang's second-generation aircraft addresses the biggest complaint about the original: range limitations restricting operations to short urban hops. The VT-35 targets distances past 100 miles, potentially reaching 186 miles based on prototype testing, tripling its predecessor's capability. Speed bumps to 150 miles per hour, making it competitive for regional routes between cities. The longer body accommodates improved battery capacity, while keeping autonomous control systems proven through thousands of commercial flights. 8 propellers handle vertical lift, with flight systems managing transition to efficient forward flight. The cabin still seats 2, but offers more comfort for longer flights with better climate control and noise insulation. Pricing around $913,000 positions it between budget urban models and premium long-range competitors. The Hefei government dropped $140 million in shared investment to support development and manufacturing. EHang submitted type certificate applications in February 2025, beginning formal approval expected to complete in 2026-2027. Extended range opens new markets, including island hopping, suburban-urban commuting, and intracity business travel. Tourism applications expand when aircraft connect destinations 100 miles apart. Medical evacuation becomes more viable, letting hospitals serve larger regions without expensive helicopter operations. EHang's operational experience with the shorter model gives advantages competitors without commercial operations lack. Over 10,000 flights across dozens of cities created knowledge informing route planning to emergency procedures. Command infrastructure scales to support longer operations. 5G connectivity and satellite backups ensure continuous communication.
Number 9. Joby Aviation S4 Development Program. California's Joby Aviation went a different direction. They kept a human pilot in the seat. The S4 shows American aviation thinking where you never fully surrender human control. 6 tilting propellers let this thing take off straight up like a helicopter, then tilt forward and cruise like an airplane at 200 miles per hour. That speed matters because it decides whether flying taxis stay toys for billionaires or become transport regular commuters use. It flies 100 miles on a charge, 3 times what EHang pulls off. Toyota dropped $400 million into the program. Delta Airlines put in $60 million, betting passengers pay extra to skip the airport drive nightmare. Joby already has its FAA air carrier certificate, meaning commercial operations start immediately after aircraft certification. 5 test aircraft fly daily between California and Edwards Air Force Base. April 2025 brought a huge win when Joby nailed its first crewed transition flights, proving pilots can safely handle the switch from vertical to horizontal flight. The company expects FAA sign-off by late 2025 or early 2026, planning launches in Los Angeles, New York, and Dubai. Noise stays way below helicopters because of electric propulsion. The thing weighs 4,800 pounds loaded and fits 4 passengers plus pilot. They build it in a 55,000 square foot facility, expanding to 500,000 square feet for mass production. One hydrogen-powered version flew 523 miles non-stop in June 2024. The U.S. military ordered 9 for $131 million. Wall Street values Joby at $4.7 billion, despite zero revenue.
Number 8. Archer Aviation Midnight Fast Charge Strategy. Archer attacked the problem differently. Figure out how to keep aircraft flying all day instead of sitting around recharging. The Midnight targets brutal operational reality that makes or breaks this business. Traditional electric aircraft spend hours plugged in after short flights. Archer engineered the Midnight for 10-minute rapid charging between flights, transforming economics completely. 12 propellers in tilt-rotor configuration handle vertical takeoff while switching to efficient forward flight. It seats 4 passengers plus pilot, hits 150 miles per hour, and covers 60 to 100 miles depending on conditions. That range works for airport shuttles, trips between cities, and premium urban routes where time matters more than money. What separates Archer is obsession with high-frequency operations. Flying 6 routes hourly instead of 2 triples revenue while infrastructure costs stay the same. Landing pads become 3 times more productive with identical investment. The company raised over $1 billion to build this operational model. United Airlines pre-ordered 200 aircraft with options for 100 more, betting passengers pay premiums to skip traffic between downtown Manhattan and Newark Airport. Stellantis invested heavily and brought manufacturing expertise. Silicon Valley capital flooded in, recognizing urban air mobility could become a trillion-dollar market. Flight testing ran hard through 2024 and 2025, targeting late 2025 FAA certification. The FAA added Archer to an integration pilot program in September 2025, allowing limited commercial operations before full certification. The Midnight pushes quiet operation with noise 100 times lower than helicopters.
Number 7. Wisk Aero Generation 6 Autonomy. Boeing's investment in Wisk Aero signals traditional aerospace giants see autonomous flying taxis as inevitable. The Generation 6 pushes deeper into pilot-free operations than any Western competitor, targeting EHang's model with American aerospace muscle. No cockpit exists, no pilot seat, no human controls. Passengers board, pick destinations on touchscreens, and trust systems while remote operators monitor. 6 propellers on fixed wing deliver both vertical lift and efficient forward flight. The aircraft seats 2 in a cabin optimized for autonomous operations with intuitive interfaces and emergency communication links to ground operators. Range hits 90 miles at 120 miles per hour, suited for urban and suburban routes where helicopters dominate. Wisk accumulated over 1,800 test flights, building safety databases regulators demand. The company partnered with NASA on airspace integration research, helping develop traffic management systems. These partnerships deliver credibility pure startups lack. The FAA granted Wisk special certification pathways as part of Integration Pilot Program, recognizing autonomous operations might improve safety by eliminating human error causing over 80% of aviation accidents. Testing spread to California, New Zealand, and military bases, where airspace access comes easier. Manufacturing plans include facilities producing hundreds annually once certification arrives in 2026 or 2027. Boeing's involvement provides aerospace expertise and supply chain access smaller competitors can't match.
Number 6. Lilium Jet Regional Range Design. Germany's Lilium made the boldest bet. They ditched exposed rotors completely and went all in on ducted electric jet engines. 36 tiny jet engines built into wings and canopy create thrust through electric fans, giving a sleek profile unlike typical multicopters. This targets longer regional routes, connecting cities 100 to 175 miles apart instead of just inner-city transport. The jet setup promises better aerodynamic efficiency during cruise flight compared to pure vertical propulsion. Wings generate lift at speed, cutting power needed to stay airborne. Top speed approaches 175 miles per hour, competitive with small planes, while keeping electric benefits. Lilium aims at wealthy travelers, executives, and medical services willing to pay serious premiums. The cabin fits 6 passengers in spacious interior, feeling more like a plane than helicopter. Big windows and premium materials make it clear this isn't mass-market transportation. Expected pricing breaks $1 million per aircraft, the priciest eVTOL option. Production happens in German facilities with carbon fiber and aerospace-grade systems. The company went public through SPAC merger, raising money for certification and scaling. Financial pressure built through 2024-2025 as certification dragged and costs ran higher than projected. Integrating 36 separate jet engines creates maintenance headaches simpler designs avoid. Every engine needs monitoring, service, and replacement. Noise differs from traditional rotorcraft. Flight testing continues, but certification timelines stay murky as authorities figure out this unconventional propulsion. Lilium partnered with regional airlines and tourism operators in Florida and Germany.
Number 5. Hyundai Supernal SA2 Mass Production Strategy. South Korea's Hyundai went all in on flying taxis by creating an entirely separate company called Supernal, dedicated to the SA2 eVTOL. Hyundai brings something competitors lack: massive automotive manufacturing expertise and production scale. They build millions of vehicles annually and understand how to drive costs down through high-volume production. The SA2 seats 4 passengers plus a pilot, targeting 25 to 40-mile trips at cruising speeds around 120 miles per hour. 8 tilting rotors enable vertical takeoff, then transition to efficient forward flight. Hyundai designed the aircraft around the V-shaped configuration they believe optimizes passenger comfort, noise reduction, and manufacturing simplicity. The company unveiled the full-scale aircraft at the Consumer Electronics Show in January 2024, demonstrating serious commitment beyond just concept drawings. Supernal operates as a standalone business unit with headquarters in Washington, D.C. and additional facilities in California and South Korea. They secured partnerships with multiple airlines and urban mobility providers eager to tap into Hyundai's manufacturing muscle. The pitch is straightforward. Supernal will deliver aircraft at price points competitors can't match because automotive-style production volumes drive per-unit costs way down. They're talking about producing thousands of aircraft annually once certified and operational. The SA2 targets FAA certification by 2028, later than frontrunners like Joby and Archer, but Hyundai argues they'll scale faster once approved. The company developed proprietary electric propulsion systems, advanced flight controls, and battery technology specifically for the SA2. Noise levels target less than 65 decibels during takeoff and landing, quiet enough for residential area operations. Hyundai's global automotive service network provides ready-made maintenance infrastructure that pure aviation startups lack completely. They plan to leverage existing relationships with parts suppliers, service centers, and dealerships to support flying taxi operations. The company also develops ground infrastructure solutions including vertiports, charging stations, and integrated transportation hubs. Supernal represents the bet that automotive manufacturing prowess, not aviation heritage, determines who wins the mass-market flying taxi race. Number 4. China's Low-Altitude Economy Initiative. Beijing mapped out an entire strategy called the Low-Altitude Economy and wrote it straight into their 2025 National Work Report. This covers passenger drones, cargo delivery, aerial tourism, and anything flying below 3,000 feet. The goal is simple: own this space globally before others figure it out. The numbers are insane. China's Aviation Authority projects growth from $69 billion in 2023 to $207 billion by 2025, then $483 billion by 2035. That's faster growth than smartphones saw. The government promised 100,000 electric aircraft and delivery drones operating by 2030. Guangdong province leads, with Shenzhen offering $2.1 million to companies earning passenger certifications. Construction crews build landing infrastructure across 16 major cities. Rooftop pads pop up on malls, office buildings, and government facilities. Air traffic control systems got completely overhauled to handle thousands of autonomous flights simultaneously. Regulators slashed certification times from 7 years to 3 by creating sandbox programs where companies test under supervision before full approval. China processed EHang's production certificate in 8 months. City planners redesigned airspace with dedicated flight corridors avoiding residential areas.
Weather systems monitor conditions constantly to reroute flights around storms. Emergency protocols map safe landing spots every few hundred feet along routes. The government sees this as claiming first-mover advantage in tech that could reshape how cities work, the same way China captured the EV market. Number 3. EHang EH216S Commercial Certification. March 2025 changed the game completely. China's Civil Aviation Administration handed EHang Holdings something nobody else on the planet has: permission to sell actual tickets for flights with 0 pilots on board. The EH216S looks almost like a toy with its white bubble canopy and 16 electric rotors spinning in a circle. But this thing is dead serious. Guangzhou and Hefei started selling rides in June 2025 for about $100 each. The machine hits 81 miles per hour, covers 19 miles per charge, and needs 2 hours plugged in between flights. Here's what blows people's minds. No human flies this thing. You climb in, tap your destination on a screen, and AI handles everything, while operators watch from a control room on the ground. EHang ran over 10,000 test flights before going commercial. Thailand's top aviation official got in one and flew over Bangkok in November 2025, making him the first government regulator anywhere to personally ride in an autonomous air taxi. 20 Chinese cities now have landing pads on rooftops and parking lots. Saudi Arabia tested them for moving pilgrims. The UAE signed deals. Japan's planning Tokyo routes. The mental barrier stays massive, though. Most people freak at the idea of trusting software to keep them alive 1,000 feet up with no pilot as backup. China's betting that consistent daily operations will eventually build trust. They dropped $140 million into infrastructure to prove it works. The whole strategy targets terrible commutes where traffic takes 40 minutes, but flying takes 10.
Number 2. Volocopter, Volo City, German engineering. Germany brought that famous precision engineering to flying taxis with Volocopter's Volo City. This aircraft looks like a giant drone but operates like a Swiss watch. 18 fixed-pitch rotors in a perfect ring create massive backup redundancy. 6 rotors can fail simultaneously, and this thing still flies and lands safely. That captures the European mindset. Move deliberately, test everything twice, never compromise safety for speed. The Volo City targets 22-mile city hops at 68 miles per hour, trading speed for reliability and quiet operation. The circular design measures 37 feet across, compact enough for rooftop landings without massive infrastructure. Carbon composite keeps weight under 2,200 pounds. 2 passengers sit in a simple cabin, focusing on visibility and comfort. Volocopter ran over 2,000 test flights before finalizing the commercial design. European Aviation Safety Agency standards drove every decision. The company flew demonstrations from Singapore to Las Vegas, building public trust. Expected pricing sits around $350,000. The business targets fleet operators like airlines and tourism companies, not individuals. March 2025 brought trouble. Volocopter filed bankruptcy while seeking restructuring money. China's Wanfang Auto bought the company for just $11 million through subsidiary Diamond Aircraft. The deal kept headquarters in Germany but cut staff from 500 to 175. Despite financial mess, they announced Europe's first eVTOL sandbox program launching in 2026. Spain's airport operator scheduled test flights between Palma and Menorca for early 2026.
Number 1. Vertical Aerospace VX4 British entry. The UK jumped in with Vertical Aerospace's VX4, designed to win trust through conservative engineering and solid industry partnerships. 8 propellers on traditional wing and tail setup suggest this company understands aircraft should look familiar. The philosophy puts certification ahead of breakthroughs, betting regulators favor familiar architectures. 4 passengers plus pilot fit in a cabin emphasizing visibility and straightforward controls. Top speed reaches 150 miles per hour with range past 100 miles. Electric propulsion promises 80% lower operating costs than helicopters. Vertical locked pre-orders from American Airlines, committing to 250 aircraft with options for 100 more. Virgin Atlantic signed agreements too. These partnerships bring operational expertise, maintenance infrastructure, and customer access pure startups lack. Manufacturing happens in the UK with aerospace supply chain partners. The company went public in late 2021, raising funds for certification. Financial pressure increased as costs ran higher and timelines stretched into 2026 and beyond. Prototype testing revealed challenges with battery performance, noise, and transition stability requiring modifications. The UK Civil Aviation Authority works closely with Vertical, developing certification standards balancing innovation with safety. Flight testing expanded through 2024-2025, accumulating hours to demonstrate reliability. The VX4 targets airport shuttle services initially, connecting downtown spots with airports in cities like London, where ground takes 90 minutes but flying cuts that to 15. Business travelers represent core customers who routinely pay premiums and value time savings.
Still curious? Then don't stop now. The next mystery is already waiting for you. Just click the video on screen. I saved it just for you. See you there, curious one.